Hey everybody, my name is David Rainey and I'm the AI Guide. Why am I the AI Guide? Because I love AI. I love reading about it, talking about it, thinking about it, and going to conferences. It's such a fascinating subject. I'm starting this new YouTube channel because last year my son was a junior in college and I asked him if his college had talked to the student body about AI. And when he said no, I got really mad because AI is the biggest thing that's going to affect society in the next 20 years. So I decided I had to step in and do something about this for the kids. And this channel is dedicated to high school and college students to give them an introduction to AI, the history of AI, and what's happening in AI. And I'll be doing posts every Saturday and every Tuesday from now on, and we're going to talk all about AI. But before we talk about AI, we need to talk about how AI works. So what is AI? AI is software. And what does software need to run? It needs a computer. So how long have computers been around? We need to talk about that too. Computers have been around much, much longer than you think. In fact, the first computer that people acknowledge as the first computer was built in the early 1800s, if you can believe that. That was a really long time ago. And a mathematician in England named Charles Babbage is considered to be the father of modern computers. And in 1822, he described a first mechanical computer, not digital, mechanical, called a difference engine, that he spent more than 10 years building. And later, he designed an improved version called the analytical engine. But it was in the 1830s that Charles finally got his computer to partially work. And what does a computer need to be able to work properly? I bet you know. It needs software, right? So the earliest computer, being a mechanical computer, still needed software to tell it what to do. And that software is an algorithm that says, do this step, then this step, then this step, then this step. So who do you think wrote the first software? Well, many people think it was a woman named Ada Lovelace, who also lived in England and knew Charles Babbage. And her father, by the way, was Lord Byron, the poet, and her mother was a mathematician in her own right back in the late 1700s and early 1800s. So clearly they had some serious horsepower brain-wise in their family. But Ada worked with Charles, who she met at what they call a salon back then, but it would be a lecture. And she wrote the program for the difference engine. And she, therefore, became the mother of computer programming. So Charles is the father of computers, and Ada is the mother of computer programming. And they lived a very long time ago. Now, this difference engine calculated polynomials, which is math that all you guys have had by now. But at the time, that would have been truly revolutionary. Unfortunately, Charles and Ada ran out of money and their project was never completed. However, in 1991, from Charles's plans, a complete difference engine was built, and it's in the London Museum of Science. So you can go to London and see it. One of the things I'm going to be doing in each video as I talk about people and how AI evolved, and then we get to AI today, is talk about places, right? Because people live in places and they're attached to those places. So the place today is London, England. That's where the first computer and computer program came from. And that, again, that was all the way back in 1830s. So with that in mind, since they never finished their computer project, it was a very long time until the next practical computer was built. And the next practical computers were built in World War II. Now, why do you think they needed computers in World War II? Well, they needed computers in World War II to fight the Germans, because the Germans had a very hard code called Enigma, which was very difficult to break. And many people had been working on it, but no one was successful for a long time. So Harvard started building the Harvard Mark I, which, as you can guess, with a name like Mark I, was the first computer they ever built. And Alan Turing, who became famous as the father of computer programming, modern father, and wrote all the computer programming early books, developed a mechanical computer in Britain, and these computers broke the Enigma code. What did that do? Well, it contributed substantially to winning the war. Why? Because back in those days, the U.S. was supporting Britain, and we had to send all their supplies to them by ship, and the German submarines kept sinking all the ships. So once the code was broken, a few ships were saved, which allowed enough supplies to get through to England to sustain the war effort and ultimately win the war. So these computers were pretty important, and Alan Turing, as I said, became famous, and a movie was made about him. And this is when modern computers started to be developed. Again, these first modern computers, just like Charles and Ada's computer, was a mechanical computer, not a digital computer. Those came later. So this is the development of computers. You need a computer to run AI. AI is software, very sophisticated software, and AI needs very powerful computers to run. And we're going to talk more about that. But that's it for the first video, early background on computers, when they were invented, who the people involved were, which is really important. And next time we're going to talk about the very beginning of AI. Take care. Talk to you on Tuesday.